Oh my god, they made an apology joke video game. Generic Control, and that goes Moo here, back with some more Game Theory FNAF videos. Today we're doing FNAF Return to the Pit, which is going to be about the time-traveling ball pit, I assume. It's going to be 3 new FNAF theories, which is actually what the very last Game Theory FNAF video was. It was actually 3 different theories, but that wasn't the last video I reacted to. That was everything you need to know about FNAF, featuring Map Pat by Foot of a Ferret. I'll leave my reaction to that right up there. Also going to link down below in the description. Also in a playlist on my channel with all my other Game Theory FNAF videos. Go in chronological order. Shout out to the patrons. I could not do this if it was not for them. They allow me to not have a paywall on channel, and $3 a month gets you all my reaction videos a day early, including my Attack on Titan reactions, which that show is going crazy. But I hope you're having a wonderful day. Most importantly, I read every single one of your comments, at least some down below. I'll also be streaming today at 5 p.m. with some Pokemon Emerald Randomizer Nuzlocke. It is chaos, and I finally got past the first gym. I finally have a whole bunch of cool Pokemon that are strong. I'm really looking forward to the future of the randomizer and what random Pokemon I'm gonna get or come across next. It's gonna be a great time. It's gonna be, this is actually a shorter video, however, but I really enjoy these videos. Everybody said that apparently everything you need to know about FNAF videos was like debunked like 2 weeks later, and it's crazy because last week, the same day, they announced like some new trailer or something for a new game or a DLC for a game, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. You all tell me about it in the comment section. Let's go ahead and jump into this video. Okay. Yep. Oh, run. Yeah, okay. Yep. Crunch.
Stupid ghost, thought you could get revenge on me?
Somebody animated this.
I am.
I always
William Afton.
I always come back.
I always come back.
Always.
I am Golden Bonnie.
And crunch.
I'm about to end this man's whole career.
I'm not a rapper. Yep, that sounds pretty painful. Kind of makes you wonder how compressed those springs are.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game Theory, the wet spring lock suit clamping down on your subscription fees. And oh my gosh, guys! Finally,
FNAF Game Theory.
after all that waiting, after being patient for so long, after
What?
all the delays, it has
Skirter Breach finally came out?
It is here. A brand new Freddy game just released where we finally get to go up against Vanny the Killer Bunny.
Oh.
Here it is.
And he's not gonna drop a
Security
video on.
Breach.
Wait a
Furries
minute.
Rage. Didn't
What?
know it had a subtitle. Apparently it's about an onslaught of angry furries on the attack. Oh wait, sorry. Misread that title. It's a Fury. Fury's
Fury.
Rage. Very important
Oh.
distinction there.
Okay.
Well, anyway, let's fire this puppy up.
Is that actually a subtitle, or is this actual? This is not the game. Sorry, I thought they just sound like gunshots. Oh, that's Scott? How could this happen?
Not quite what I expected on multiple fronts.
Is this another troll by Scott?
For all the delays with the real
Oh my
security
god, they
breach.
made an apology joke video game.
When they find out that I have to delay the game again, what am I gonna do?
You can tell that Scott's feeling a little guilty these days, huh? Also, apparently he sleeps in a fairy tale bed. Learning a lot about you with this one, Scott. Anyway,
Yeah.
just because the official game is still TBD doesn't mean that there's
Wow,
any less to
still didn't have
theorize
a
about.
release
We've got
date?
a new book, we've got
Was there
secret
lore
bosses,
in the
and we've
apology
got a lot
game
of pent-up theories behind
announcement?
the floodgates just waiting to pour out. So
The
today,
box.
I'm doing another roundup of short FNAF theories. Some looking back to the past,
last video
some
we did
looking
was
ahead
also that.
towards the future, and some that are so out there that, well, you're gonna see when we get there. So open your minds,
So we got what,
your
small,
hearts,
medium,
and
and
your
large?
hollow animatronic chest cavities reserved for the bodies of dead children, because I'm shoving theories in everywhere.
I made space in mine just
Theory
before recording,
number
just for that
one, we
reason.
definitely play as Michael Afton in FNAF 3. In the newest Fazbear Fright book, Gumdrop Angel,
What?
released at the beginning of May, we as always have our 3 main horror novellas. The first is the title feature, Gumdrop Angel, a tragic tale about a girl who transforms into a giant gummy bear pinata thing that gets eaten alive by a
It's like
swarm
Pokemon.
of saliva-mouthed kids at a Freddy's birthday party. Talk about your hygiene concerns. This one became a whole
No,
heck of a lot
kids.
scarier reading it in the aftermath of a global pandemic. But as
Yeah.
you might imagine, not a whole lot of lore to be found in a story about a sentient gummy bear. Our second story,
Fair.
Sergio's Lucky Day, is all about Balloon Boy, or should I say Lucky Boy. A doll
Lucky
who's
Boy? I don't
wearing
think
a
he's very
propeller
lucky.
hat and holding both a balloon and a sign that says, "I'm a lucky boy." In this story, our main character Sergio finds the doll and ends up buying a lottery ticket because of its advice. The next day, Sergio
Did he
finds
win?
that he won himself $600,000.
Ooh.
I won a lottery!
That's great. It's a story that's a bit
Wait, what was that
confusing
from?
because
That
the
was
doll
Matt Pat
does seem
acting.
to offer good advice, encouraging Sergio Sergio to leave a job that he hates, leave a girlfriend that he hates, upgrade his life in small ways, all
I mean,
things that
600
improve
grand.
Sergio's existence. But as a result, Sergio becomes obsessed with the doll, asking him
God.
for advice on everything, including how he can look good for his big high
Magic
school
conch?
reunion. Lucky Boy suddenly takes the chance to turn evil and tells him to remove his ears, scalp himself, cut off his eyelids, chisel his lips, trim his nose, and remove and reuse other body parts to become taller. As you might imagine, Sergio
That's not how
makes
that
a
works.
big impression at
And
the
he
reunion.
lived that
Again,
long?
Not a whole lot to say here since it seems so tangential to the character from the games. I'm assuming that this is going to end up being connected to the upcoming Book 9 story, The Puppet Carver, but we're just going to have to wait and see.
Oh
And
god,
just when
these
you thought
covers
this
are
book wasn't
crazy.
gonna deliver on any lore reveals, we get to our third story, What We Found, which is quite literally just a retelling of FNAF 3. Stop me if this one starts to sound familiar. A night security guard working at Fazbear Frights, a horror attraction themed around the murders and disappearances happening at the Freddy Fazbear
That's
Pizzeria
crazy.
franchise,
That's
begins
based.
suffering from severe hallucinations the day the crew brings in a Springtrap suit found hidden in the walls of a different building. Hudson,
What's, like
our
a
night
museum?
guard, winds up trapped in a pizza oven and gets roasted to death at the end of his shift. It is really sad and also a really obvious parallel
How?
to the events of
How do you
FNAF
get
3,
trapped in a
right? But
pizza
here's the
oven?
thing, it also really feels like it's meant to confirm
get
for us
shoved
that
in there?
Michael Afton is who we play as in FNAF 3. If you remember back to a couple years ago, I had a theory that Mike Afton
Not a couple
is our
years
player
ago?
character
A couple
in
weeks
pretty
ago
much
for me, or
every
months.
game in the franchise. We see the name Mike on FNAF 1's paycheck.
Yeah.
We see the name Mike again on the Monitor and Sister location. In fact, the player's guide for that game, the Freddy Files, practically
AKA
confirms
you.
that part of the theory. So that's Mike appearing in 2 games, but what about FNAF 2 and 3? The name Mike doesn't appear anywhere in either of them. Well, in FNAF 1, we know that Mike eventually gets fired for tampering with animatronics and his odor. Something that would happen if, you know, he was a rotting corpse walking around from restaurant to free the souls of the dead kids trapped in the suits put there by his father. So isn't it a
Kinda
little
crazy.
coincidental that
Great,
Fritz
now
Smith,
get out.
our protagonist from FNAF 2, gets fired for the exact same reasons, tampering with the animatronics and odor.
The fact that
it's
it's
also
those
why
two.
Michael would keep getting attacked. We
Well, it
know
wasn't
from
general
Sister Location
unprofessionalism
that
this
he
time.
looks
So he
just like his
improved.
dear old daddy. And lastly, it's why Golden Freddy says it's me every time he appears.
What if he's a
It's
clone?
the brother's soul crying child trapped in the suit, recognizing and reaching out to his sibling Mike. But then, what about FNAF 3? When I first presented the theory, I thoughtfully omitted FNAF 3. It made sense to me from a narrative angle, but in terms of actual physical evidence, there wasn't a whole lot to point to outside of the hallucinations.
Exotic
Since
butters.
the phantom animatronic jump scares in FNAF 3 were moments
Not a
pulled
fan.
from both FNAF 1 and 2, it
do you
implies
mean
that the
moments
person
pulled?
seeing them must have been present in both those locations. But beyond that, yeah, bupkis.
Oh.
However, what we found may have just given us our missing piece. Our security
What
guard
did we
Hudson
find?
in the story has a very tragic existence. His dad took his own life at an early age, and his mother got remarried to an abusive man named Lewis. And this guy is awful. Like, he is real bad.
You don't even tell me
Eventually, we
anything.
learn that
I know
Hudson
that he
seems to
is.
have burned his house down, killing this violent man in the process, and then repressing those memories. Fast forwarding back to the present day,
What about his
as
mom?
he's tormented by Springtrap, he hears his dad's voice coming from the suit. That, along with a former abusive teacher named Mr. Atkin, or Mr. Adkin, depending on which page you're talking about. I'm looking
That's
at you,
weird.
proofreaders. You got
Oh.
some splaining to do. Anyway, Hudson kills
Oh,
his
no.
violent father in a fire. A father whose voice comes out of Springtrap, along with another
it's
person
that father, not
associated
the
with
dead-
childhood
or,
trauma
well,
and with a
not
name
the-
suspiciously
not his
close
birth
to
father.
Afton. The security guard himself then dies in a fire in a tightly contained pizza oven. To me, it sounds
I wonder
heck of
who
a
put
lot
him
like
there.
the journey of Mike, who would also be responsible
For
for
burning
burning
his father.
spring-trapped serial killer father to death at the end of FNAF 3 before he himself meets a fiery end in FNAF 6, also trapped inside of a small box. It's potentially the confirmation that I've been waiting on for years. Or not, who knows. Speaking of FNAF 3, here's
They
a
have
small
fun with these
observation
books.
that didn't fit anywhere, but I wanted to call out. You know how we're pretty confident that Golden Freddy was possessed by 2 spirits, Crying Child
Are we
and
sure it's just
Cassidy,
2?
the Vengeful Spirit? Well, it seems like Scott may have been hinting at that since FNAF 3. I couldn't believe it either, but take a look. Here's a
Wait,
photo of the bad
Oh, both
ending
lights
from
are-
that game. Notice
both
how the mask
eyes
in the
are-
background, Golden Freddy has 2 lights on in its eyes instead of just one like all the others. Each light would be representative
One
of
of
a
the two.
spirit trapped in the suit. Shout out
Okay.
to Game Theorist subreddit user The Real Bruffi for that one.
Oh, how many
And
people are in
while
that
we're on the
subreddit? Probably a
subject of
ton.
Cassidy, Theory number 2,
I feel like people that like these
Cassidy
videos
died
are
in the
probably
ball pit.
the same
Recently
people that
it was
like
confirmed by
Reddit.
Scott
I use
Kaufman
Reddit all
on
the time.
That the Fazbear Frights
That's
book
Duck
series
Goes Me
will end at
subreddit
number
for some reason.
11.
I don't know
Random
why.
number with a 12th mini book full of stories that that didn't make the cut acting as a bonus. Gotta admit, it's a bit of a shame because this whole time I was hoping they would get 76 more out of this thing just so we could make a joke along
So
the
they're
lines
finally
of,
done?
was that the right of 87? Anyway, it means that
Right
we're in
of
the end
87.
game now,
Jesus.
specifically with the story of Detective Larson and the Stitch Wraith, the overarching narrative that
Y'all
happens
know I
in the
love the
epilogue
Stitch
of each
Wraith.
installment. And that's nothing to sneeze at, my friends. Is that idiom acceptable after 2020? Anyway, it's a big deal
Yes.
since this is the story that's historically had the biggest lore reveals. Most notably, the hints that led us to believe that Golden Freddy had 2 souls trapped inside of him instead of just 1. And with only 3 epilogues left before the end of the series, this story needs to have itself a really big payoff. So when we last left our heroes, they had just battled a
What
15-foot
age
trash
group are
rabbit
these
called
books
the
aimed
Afton
at?
Amalgamation. By the end, Larson got infected with the glitch trap virus, and Jake, the remaining spirit inside the Stitch Wraith, realized that he could use his I don't know, his remnant powers to basically go into people's memories and make the good ones stronger in order to help them. Quote, maybe he could pull a memory out, a good one, and make it bigger and brighter than the rest. If he could ease the man's pain. It was almost like blowing up a balloon, only the balloon was a memory and the air was Jake's will. It's about on par with the level of insanity you'd expect from FNAF in the year of our lolbit 2021. And while that's certainly an interesting story
2021.
detail, what
Wasn't
I
that
instead want to
2020?
focus on is
Well, 2020
Larson's
wasn't
half of the plot.
awful.
The detective who's been trying to piece together all the mysteries around Fazbear Entertainment. Getting infected
Well,
by the
I mean, I
Afton
think my
virus
channel's
has had
deleted. It
some
still wasn't a
weird
terrible
side
year.
effects on him. Specifically, it's allowed him to hop between the memories of a bunch of Afton's victims. Quote, he was getting glimpses of the past. They were memories, but not his own. These
Like the
images
future.
belonged to others from different
What
places
in the Attack
different
on Titan
times.
is this?
So it feels like this is the literary device that's going to allow the books to
I'm reacting
explain
to that right
the
now.
missing
Duck Goes
children's
Anime.
incident. Larson is going to get clues via this memory hopping to either see for himself or get the clues to investigate what happened to Susie, Gabriel, Fritz, Jeremy,
Now, would that
Charlie,
hold up in
and
court?
Cassidy. But then things start to take an unexpected turn. One final quote. As his mind swept him from one visit to the past to another, he always saw the same thing in between. He saw
What?
a ball pit. Oh boy, here we go, friends. Get ready,
The
Shark.
time-traveling
You about
ball
to be
pit.
jumped. You see, despite all the craziness of
back.
the Fazbear Fright
We
story,
brought
they
back the-
all roughly
the
held
ball
to the
pit.
same logic. Technology infects humans, endoskeletons become haunted, people can be replicated, but there was one that always stood out. For those of you who don't remember, the
Time-traveling
title
ball pit.
story of the very first book was
Into the Pit.
The story of a time-traveling ball pit that allowed a boy named Oswald to go back to the
How does
past
that
to
even
visit
happen?
the year 1985 and see the after effects of the missing children's incident. As he does this, he's chased down by Spring Bonnie disguised as his father. It was weird, because time travel is always weird, but you know, we didn't think too
Yeah.
much of it at the time because it was a one-off story in a collection of random one-off
It's supposed to be
stories.
like
But
5, now it's gonna be 12.
Now, my friends, we're coming back to it. Of all the 24 stories that
Yeah,
Fazbear
'cause there's
Frights
3
has
per.
had, this is the one that the big overarching narrative of the series suddenly deems important enough to come back to for some reason. The time
I mean, it makes things
travel
possible.
pit. And that's not
Don't
only
explain
proof
it.
that this
Don't
thing's
try to.
important. Remember Security Breach, Furry's Rage? More like MatPat's Rage at this point, because not only does the game include a dabbing Chica, but it also features a secret boss battle in complete
dabbing.
hard mode. A secret boss battle against this. A slithering reference to FNAF 4's confusing lore.
is that
Chica
the
without her
box
beak, the
with a
6
clock?
a.m. alarm
Yeah.
clock face, the FNAF 4 locked box, what appears to be an IV bag in the back there. Basically, in this one
And the
sprite, we have
grandfather
Scott
clock.
acknowledging that the real final boss of this whole damn series is figuring out what FNAF 4 was trying to tell us. It's also him poking fun at the FNAF 4 dream theory, considering the thing's name in the source code is Dreamgeist. But of all the stuff that's hidden inside of that head,
Okay.
there's a few random round objects that don't really fit
The
anything
balls
from
from the
FNAF
ball
4.
pit.
Are they Easter eggs? Or
No.
maybe they're balls from
For
a
the
ball
ball
pit.
pit.
Considering
That's-
that balls and ball pits have never once been important to this series. And in the level where you fight the Dreamgeist, we see screenshots from previous games. Sister locations blueprints, a
Yeah.
camera feed from FNAF 1, again implying some level of time travel, or spanning across time. Because remember, Dream Theory came out before Sister Location was released, which makes that FNAF 5 blueprint reference really stand out here. Now, by no means am I saying
Oh.
that there's time travel in the games or anything like that.
There probably
But the
is.
sudden reemergence of the ball pit in Fazbear Frights opens up a few interesting possibilities. One, that Cassidy died
But-
in the pit. Remember, the vengeful spirit has powers that go beyond all the other spirits, to the extent that it's able to
How do you
trap
die in a ball
Afton
pit?
in a state between life and death. So if anyone or anything is gonna imbue a ball pit with time powers, Cassidy seems like the one to do
But
it. And we
how?
know that someone
Why?
did die in there because both in the pit and the latest epilogue make a point about the pit's sticky balls. Get your mind out of the gutter there, people. Quote, he studied the
Yeah.
plastic balls. The substance covering the plastic surface looked like blood. Old blood. And here I thought thought the worst thing that happened in a ball pit was getting pink eye. Fire up the golden
Never.
Freddy in the ball pit
Yeah,
thumbnail,
no.
boys. 2, that the series is gonna end with Larson and the Stitch
Wait, is that
Wave
the
using
same
the
ball pit
to
thumbnail
save
Doug
the
used
missing
for when
children
he
from
did?
Afton and
He
release
decorated
their
his room or
spirits.
filled it with
Why would I
balls.
assume something like this? Well, giving Larson memory powers would be enough to tell the kid's story. Let him see glimpses of their trauma, clues that lead him on an investigation. The ball pit, though, becomes necessary if the story plans on him physically interacting with those kids. So I wouldn't be surprised if the ending of this entire book series is unwinding the thread that started it all. The missing children's incident kids are saved, which, in the process, undoes
Due
all of the
to
other
time
horrific
travel.
stories that spin out from the Fazbear pizzerias. In the process,
Oh.
Scott retroactively gives all the sad stories from the Fazbear Fright series a happy ending. And finally,
By
number
undoing
3,
them.
Detective Larson becomes
Be like,
Afton in
psych,
what is a
you felt sad,
self-perpetuating
no need
time
to.
loop scenario. Oh, sure. You all laugh.
Darn,
and
Mama,
trust
I've
me,
come
I
to
think
bargain.
it's dumber than YouTuber boxing. But hear me out here. We have ourselves a character, Larson, infected by, as the book puts it, Afton's darkness. We also have ourselves a ball pit that allows him to go back in time for some reason that's going to be important to the narrative. So what if Larson winds up going back in time to investigate, only for the darkness to take over and turn him into William Afton, setting all the events of the story into motion? Who knows? Maybe we truly do exist in the darkest timeline, and Scott Cawthon gave the green
I like
light
how
to
you give him a
story that
goatee.
allows Afton to be a creation of his own future self. Tell you what, it would explain how Afton was able to create
What
such
if
futuristic
Mike
advanced
is
robotics
him?
when he was literally in the early 80s.
I don't know,
'cause
what if
that's
that
something
was
that'll
the
never
thing?
get explained. Like I said, that theory is real dumb,
'Cause they
but,
said he
you
looked
know,
like him.
it is on the table. I wouldn't put it past this series. Time travel opens up all sorts of dumb decisions,
Maybe-
and time loops are real hot right now. And heck,
Are
we
they?
do see a
I don't
lot of
think I've
ball
seen
pits
any
in
of
that
those.
new trailer, one that comes complete with a day-night mechanic.
Huh?
Will I be right? Will I be wrong? We've got ourselves
I don't
3
know.
more books and an indeterminate wait for security breach to
Indeterminate?
arrive, so you can bet the theories are just going to get
Dude,
more and more
once
ridiculous
Security Breach
until
comes out,
that
his
day
theories are probably
comes. So in
crazy.
the meantime, remember to
Stabbing.
actually listen
Stop.
to my dear friends Rhett and Link's new podcast, Ronstadt.
They're
If
from
you like
North Carolina,
FNAF, then
Blue
chances
Creek.
are you're going to really dig their new project. It's a horror sci-fi comedy about a guy who sounds suspiciously like Rhett from Good Mythical Morning. He becomes a 911 call operator who has a sixth
Oh,
sense
God.
that allows him to
I
solve
remember I got
supernatural
told I
mysteries
look a
while
lot
also
like- I
helping
think it was
people
him.
on the other end of the line.
911? What's your emergency?
What?
I'm so scared. There's this thing, and it's after me.
Kind of like Ghostbusters meets Doctor Who. And even for me,
Oh.
a picky podcast connoisseur, it's really enjoyable. So
Is this,
check them
like,
out. I am
sponsored? Or
super,
is this a
super
shout
proud
out?
of the work that they're doing on that series. I want to give it a little bit more love because it's definitely worth your time. It's actually from the same people who make Markiplier's podcasts, which if you haven't listened to those
Wait,
are
they
also
make
really good. So
podcasts?
just high quality
I didn't know Markiplier
audio
had a
content
podcast.
right into your ear holes across the board. Anyway, I dropped a link for them down in the description below. Go check it
That's
out,
kinda cool.
especially if you're in the mood for something that's still a bit FNAF-y, but a little less jump scare
FNAF-y?
intensive. And always remember,
No puppet?
it's all just a theory. A game theory. Thank
It's always just a theory. So we're back in the time traveling ball pit. Oh man, this video has a good amount of views. It doesn't have as many as the everything you need to know, everything you need to know about FNAF. That video has a ton of views, but also the 10th anniversary video also has a ton of views as well. But this is interesting. I wonder when they're actually going to have the security breach. Like, when is the first video after security breach comes out going to be? Because apparently it was just a glitchy mess from the start, but apparently it got better. Apparently the launch was, like, rushed, and things just did not go according to plan, according to your comments, which I read every single comment. Also be live stream today at 5 p.m. over on Twitch with my Pokemon Emerald randomizer Nuzlocke. It's crazy. I got a Blastoise last week. I just got a Typhlosion. It's crazy. Oh man, it has been difficult. This is my 3rd attempt. The other 2 times, I didn't even get past the first gym. But now I actually have a whole squad of Pokemon. I can't wait to see what Pokemon I get next. It's always a fun time. It makes for great content, randomizers, so I have no idea what's going to happen. But this is a great video. I look forward to the next one. Let me know what was right. And oh, actually, don't tell me what was right and what was wrong, because that would be spoilers. We'll be back for the journey. Definitely stay tuned for more videos. But until the next one, take care and cue the music.
We were playing